This conference will now be recorded.
Hello guys, so Akash this side. So I'll be your trainer. First of all, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so hi, I am Akash. I'll be your trainer for this course. So today we are here for this UI development course. So I'll just give you a brief today, as in what we are targeting in this course, what would be the content throughout this course. So I'll just give you an overview. Before starting that, I would like to give my introduction. So I am Akash. I'm into UI development from last 6 to 7 years. So I've been working with all the major stack of UI technologies. You can okay. So we'll be working with. I've been working with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and apart from this, all the other technologies as well. So basically, we are here for React.js, right? So the contents that we'll be following through this React.js course would be, we'll start with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript basics, and then we'll move to React. Okay, so I'll first of all, maybe I'll give you an introduction that what is basically UI development, how it is divided, in what is the architecture that we follow when we say that we are building a web application. And once we have discussed that architecture, then we'll see what are the technology stack we can use in that architecture, and then we'll see then we'll gradually come to React, and we'll see what is the course content we'll follow for React, and then maybe the forum will be open for you all to have your questions for me. Okay, so just give me a second, I'll just share my screen. Uh, so is my screen visible for all?
Yes, it is. I
Okay,
can say it.
okay, cool. Okay, so when we say web application development, basically the application, the UI development is divided into three. Basically, the web application is divided into three layers. When we say the architecture, it is divided into three layers. The first layer is a presentational layer, right? The presentation layer. So that is nothing but the UI, the end interface that as an end user I see on the browser. When we hit the URL, the screen that we see, that is nothing but my presentation layer. So ultimately, when we say that where we have to work on a web development, there has to be a backend, right? There has to be a backend where I'll be storing my data. Correct. So that will be nothing but my database. That database could be a SQL database or a non-SQL database. Whereas we say SQL, that is relational database. The data that we'll be storing will be having some relations between them. Like as we do, so in that case, we usually save the data in form of tables, which has rows and columns, right? And we can also have data which don't which doesn't require any linkage between them. So for that we use NoSQL database. So in there we usually save the data in form of objects, a JSON object, right? So that is nothing but my backend, which is called as data tier, right? And so to interact with that data, ultimately that data is the part that we have to showcase it on the UI, so on the presentational layer. So to connect that presentational layer with that data layer, we have to have a interface, layer in between that should give you an linkage between your presentational layer and the data layer. So for that we use application layer. So this is nothing but your API that we write, the REST APIs that we write, right? So these REST APIs give you the leverage to connect your presentational layer, that is nothing but your UI, with the data tier. So that is basically we have an leverage to connect both these. So this application layer is nothing but the APIs that we write that gives us the advantage of, so this gives us an advantage to connect our data layer with the presentational layer, because ultimately what we have to showcase to the end user on the data layer has to be the data that is there available in the backend, correct? So when we say that, so we are targeting, we are here to work on our presentational layer. Out of these three layers that we have, data layer for our databases, the application layer for our REST APIs, and the presentational layer, which is nothing but my UI. So we are here for UI, that is our presentational layer, right? So now coming to the stack that we usually follow in presentational layer, we create our presentational layer in HTML, right? So at the end of the day, whatever as the visuals we see on the browser has to be a part of HTML. Either that purely depends the framework that we are using. So in our case, we'll be using React.js, but React internally also, whatever you see on the browser, right? As I told you, whatever we see on the browser has to be a part of HTML. So even though we are using any framework, like in our case, we will be using React.js, but with that also the DOM that is available on the screen, the visuals that are available on the screen, we'll be still writing that with the HTML, right? So the contents that we'll be starting with would be HTML, then we'll see CSS. So HTML is nothing but the elements that we see on the screen, like we are seeing a table. If you are binding the data in your tabular format, so you have to bind that, you have to create a table, right? Then you have to render a button, right? So we have to render that button using HTML. So all those elements that we see on the browser has to be a part of HTML, right? So first of all we'll start with HTMLs. We'll see the basics of HTML, how to work with HTML. Then we'll move to CSS. So CSS, could you please mute it? The one who, okay. So then we'll move to CSS. So CSS is basically stands for cascading style sheets. So that is basically used to give styling to the elements that you have rendered using HTML. So the elements that we'll be rendering would be using HTML. Then to give them the styling, the look and feel that we want, and to make that application more attractive for the end users, we'll use CSS, right? So CSS stands for cascading style sheets, and basically used to impart the stylings, the look and feel to your HTML elements that you have rendered on the browser. Then it comes the JavaScript. So the JavaScript is basically used to enact to the interactions the end user has made to your applications, or in more simple words, it is basically used to give the end user the leverage to interact with your application, right? So you have rendered a table, a button, right? A drop down, for example. So you have rendered all these elements on the screen, but until and unless the end user is able to interact with those items and use your application, it is of no use the application that you have created, right? So for that we use JavaScript. So JavaScript basically gives your application the leverage for the end user to interact with them, right? So if a button is there, so on click of that button, what action your application should take, right? So what action your application should take, that is basically we write in JavaScript. So that's, these are the core stack that we have to follow when we say we are in web development. HTML for rendering the elements on the screen, CSS to impart styling to those elements, and JavaScript to give that interface so that the end user can communicate with your application. So now in our case, we'll be using React as a JavaScript library. So we can use one vanilla JavaScript to create the application that we just talked about, right? So we talked about that these three are the core to build a web application: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So we can write the code of JavaScript in vanilla JavaScript, that is nothing but the purest form of JavaScript, right? But in our case, we have multiple frameworks available in the market like Vue, Amber, Angular, React. So we have chosen React as the framework. So now we'll see that using the framework, how to give that. So basically, as I told you, what is the purpose of JavaScript? JavaScript purpose is to give the leverage for the end user to communicate with your application. So we'll be fulfilling this requirement with the help of a framework, a JavaScript framework, which is nothing but React. So now coming to React, React is basically a client-side application. It is usually useful to build client-side applications. So first question is that what are client-side applications? So basically, when we say client-side applications, so what happens in the client-side applications? All the code that you have written, like your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all of that gets bundled up and is present on your browser. That is nothing but your client side, right? This is your client. You are the, if you're using your application, you are termed as a client, right, for the application. So what happens? The applications that usually we'll be creating will be client side applications. So what will be happening behind the scenes? Like the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, the application that you have written, right? The code that you have written. So whenever you hit that URL for the first time in the browser, what will happen? It will combine all your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and it will store that, it will download that in your browser. So now browser is nothing but your client side interface, right? So it will download that code in the, it will download that code on the client side, and now going forward, we'll be interacting with the server using the REST APIs. So basically we have all our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code running on my browser itself. That is the reason we say client side applications. So in client side applications, your code like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is on your browser, right? And the only interaction with the server is to fetch the data and bind that data in the UI. Yeah, Ansh. So you're not able to see, guys. Really sorry. So interrupt. Uh, are you able to see the screen, right? And I'm audible as well.
Yes, Akash.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Ansh. I think then there is some issue with your network. Just try to connect it once back. Okay.
Looks fine on me. To me, I can see and I can hear it.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Okay, back to the demo. So, like as I told you, in React, the applications that we'll be creating would be client-side applications. So, when we say client-side applications, it is largely the content that you have written, the code that we have written, the core of our application that we have written is our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that code gets bundled up and gets downloaded on your browser. And now the code that it is running will be on your browser. The interfaces that you are seeing is already on your browser. And the only interaction that we have after that with the server is just to fetch the data, bind that data in the UI. Correct? So that interaction with the server will after that would be just to fetch the data using a REST API to connect with that interface, as I told you, the application tier, the REST API, and fetch that data and showcase
So what
that
is
data
the
in the,
REST API?
sorry.
REST API, what do you mean by REST API?
Uh, can we so we'll have a proper session after this for questionnaire. Can we just take all the questions at one
Okay,
time?
okay, 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 okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So when we say REST API, so it gives you a framework, or it gives you an interface for which using which you can connect with your database. So from the UI, the code that is still there on your browser, that is your client side, you are making a call. You'll make a call to your REST API, and that will fetch the data from the backend and give you the data. So the same set of data we'll use to bind it in our UI. Correct? So that is the reason the applications that we create using React framework are client side applications. So this was the goal. This is the core of client side applications. So I told you like what is the actual functioning of client side applications. So when we say client side applications, your that is the reason, like if you open Facebook, right? Facebook is created on React, right? So when you open Facebook, and in you, if say for example, if you're using Facebook, right? If you're using Facebook and your internet gets disconnected, so even after that, you feel like you are able to scroll through all the feeds, right? So even though the internet has been disconnected, but still you feel like you are able to scroll through the data. So what is the reason for that? The reason is the code is in the client side. It is already in your browser. So that's the reason you have that code, that visuals, that DOM that is already loaded in the browser, that is still there in your browser. So no need to connect back to the internet. For internet, we only need to fetch the data. So that is the reason you might have seen, like when the internet gets disconnected, you usually see that the new posts are not getting updated, but the previous one that have already been uploaded, that still remains behind the scenes. So that reason is client side application, because it has been already been loaded on the client side, and as the internet has disconnected just now, so going forward it will not fetch the updated data from the API. So now whatever set of data has been already been fetched from the API, it will just showcase that on the interface, right? So the applications that we'll be creating through this, like React as a framework, will be client-side applications. And one more important core concept of React is the applications that we'll be creating will be single-page applications. So now what is single-page applications? So in single-page applications, we usually have a single HTML page. So as I told you that on the browser, if you have to see anything, it has to be a HTML page, right? So whatever you see, like even if you see a button, a tabular, a table, a drop down, so all these elements that we see on the browser has to be a HTML. And so the applications that we'll be creating through React will be single page applications. So now what we mean by single page applications? So in single page applications, we only have a single HTML page, and on top of that whatever visuals you will see, that will be termed as components. So what we will do in React, we'll create all these different views. So for example, the web application that you have created, right, that we are that say for example we are targeting to create, has multiple screens, has multiple views. Okay, so what we will do, as the applications that we can create using React has only a single HTML page. So what we will do, we will use that HTML page, and on top of that, for different views, we'll create different components. So that is the reason React is a component based framework
Yeah,
or a
Akash.
library. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the architecture slide only. Are you sharing something else?
No, I'm sharing that itself.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So when we say single page applications, we have a single HTML page, and for the different views that we'll be navigating between, for that we'll be creating different components. So that's the reason the different views, different screens that we create are basically different components in React. So that is the reason it is component based. So the advantage of using component based is that if you have created a component, it can be reused somewhere else, right? If you have created a component, it can be used somewhere else as well. So for example, if you want to render a button, and on a screen you want to render a button, say twice, and on a different screen again you have to render that button. So what we will do is we'll create that button as a component, and then we can render that component inside our parent component as many number of times as I want. So that is the basic advantage of component based. So we'll create these everything as components, and we can reuse them wherever we want. So, and we can also, and it's also not restricted that if we have created a component for button, so the look and feel of that button will always be the same, and the functionalities will always be the same. So for example, if you have created two buttons using the same component, and these two buttons can perform two different things. So for example, one button can be for a submit, and the other one for can be used for reset. Say for example, if you are working with a form, usually what we see, the as we are working with a form, the two actions the end user can perform is whatever the entries user has filled inside that form, either he can submit that form to the server, right, and save the save that data in our backend, or the other thing is he can use cancel or reset to just remove whatever uh, already the user has filled in that application or in that form. So even we are rendering these two buttons using the same component that we created for rendering buttons, but the functionalities of the end perspective of both the buttons will be different, right? So that is the biggest advantage of React. Okay, so these are the core concepts of React. So what happens, the applications that we'll be creating through React will be single page applications. So as I told you, so these are also called SPAs, single page applications, right? SPA, single page applications. So single page applications, the biggest advantage is as we are working with components and we only have a single HTML page, so whenever we switch between the screens, we don't have to re-render the whole component again, we don't have to re-render the whole HTML again. It's just the component that gets changed on top of the single HTML page that we have. So behind the scenes, the working goes like this, that we have a simple single HTML page, and based on the interaction of the end user with your applications, if we want to navigate to a different view, we'll just render that specific component on top of that HTML page. That is the biggest advantage of React. So it is single page application, it is client side application. So as I already told you, that client side applications, the code that is getting executed on is on your browser, and the only thing that we need to interact with the server will be the data that we have to bind. So as I told you, the example that I gave you was Facebook. So if you're using Facebook, right, if you're using Facebook, then and even if after say 5 minutes of usage your internet gets disconnected, you usually see that you are able to scroll through the other feeds. So the idea behind that is the application has already been loaded on your browser on your client side, and now as you're disconnected from the internet, you'll not be able to get the most updated data from the backend, but still whatever data already you have fetched it from the server, that is still visible on your interface or on your browser user interface. Correct. Then one more core concepts why we have opted for React and why React is so much popular in the market today. So React is the most used JavaScript library if you see it today in the market. If you compare that with Angular, Vue, Ember, all these libraries available in the market and frameworks available in the market for JavaScript, React is the most used. So now almost 70 to 80% of the market has been grabbed by React. So the biggest advantages of React is its core principle of virtual DOM. So what is that virtual DOM? So see guys, this is just I'm giving you an overview. Okay, so don't think like this is just I am covering all these topics. So when we'll start with this batch, then maybe we'll on each topic we'll deep dive into the core concepts with theoretical plus the practical, right? So today it's just I'm giving you an overview that why React is so much popular in the market today. So as I've told you that about 65 to 70% of the market is taken by React today, right? So what is the core advantage? There has to be some out of the box principles of React that it provides to us, and that is the reason it has grabbed 60 to 80%, 70% of the market. So the core principle, again, one more core principle that it has provided is virtual DOM. So what is virtual DOM? So whatever we see on the browser, right? Whatever we see on the browser when you hit the URL, when whatever the user screen that we see on the browser, it's the DOM. It is termed as DOM, document object model. Okay, so it is document object model, right? So that DOM contains nothing but your elements that you have rendered. So it contains a tree-like structure of the elements. So for example, if you have rendered a table, so what will be the DOM structure look like? Your DOM structure will have a div as the parent element. Inside that div, it will have a table that you have rendered, and then so that is, it creates an hierarchy. And for example, after that table, you have created a button as well. So in that same div, it will have two elements now, one table, one button, right? So this is a tree-like structure of the DOM. So this is called a DOM tree. So whatever you see on the browser, it's like it first creates a DOM tree. This is called a DOM, a real DOM. And that is the reason why whatever is rendered on the screen, we are able to see because of DOM, right? When we say React, what it does, it creates a virtual DOM. So what it does, it creates a same replica of the real DOM. So real DOM is nothing but it is maintained by your browser. So whatever browser is rendering, it is creating a DOM for that. It is creating a DOM tree for that, right? So what React does, it creates a replica of the same DOM. It creates a replica of the same DOM that has been created by a browser. And now this replica is termed as virtual DOM, right? This is termed as virtual DOM. So this is, you can say it's a replica of the real DOM, but it is now not controlled by your browser, but now it is controlled by your React framework. Okay, so now say for example, if you have a drop down on a screen, if you have a text box on a screen, and if you have made changes only to a drop down, right? So why do you want the whole page to refresh, right? The idea behind the scenes is like if you have multiple elements on the screen, you have a text box, you have a button, you have a drop down, you have a radio button. So if you have made changes to any of one of those items, right? If you have just say selected a value from the drop down, so why do we need that whole page to be refreshed? We only need that specific element on the screen to get refreshed, and else apart from this all the other elements should remain as it is, right? Because that is the core concept. Because if that specific element would only change and all the other elements will not change, the screens that we are seeing will be very fast, the interaction time would be less, right? So that is the core concept of React, that is virtual DOM. So what happens behind the scenes, your React framework, it creates a replica of the real DOM that is maintained by the browser. Real DOM is maintained by the browser, whereas this virtual DOM, it's now taken care by React framework. So what happens, say for example, as I told you, if I have multiple things, a drop down, a button, a text box, and if I'm only making a change to a say a drop down, so what will happen, this real virtual DOM will only change that specific, like it will only change that drop down in that DOM tree. And now what will happen, now a shallow comparison will be done of this virtual DOM and the real DOM. In the real DOM, it is still the old one, and in the virtual DOM, we have updated the value of the drop down. So now we'll compare the real DOM with the virtual DOM, and now we will only replace that specific element. So in our case, we made a change to a drop down. So now that specific element will only be changed in the real DOM. So that is the reason we have opted for React, because of its feature called virtual DOM. So what is the advantage? The biggest advantage is the refresh rate is very high. So because it is not refreshing my whole page, it is not refreshing my whole component, but it is only making the change to that specific element on the screen which we have made the change to. Correct. So if I have, even if I have 100 elements, and if I'm making a change to one element, it will only change that specific element, and it will not change other elements. So this is the advantage of React as a library. So if we have not opted for this, and if we are just creating a web application with simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, so in that case, if you make a change to a single drop down on a screen, what happens? Your whole web page gets refreshed. So it takes time. Your interaction, your communication time is very high. Your response time is very high, right? So if you're using React as a framework, this is the advantage we get, that it's only updating that specific element on the screen and not refreshing the whole page, right? So guys, these were some of the highlights of React that I just gave you an intro to. So as I gave you, the three core principles are single page application, it is a client based, it is a single page application, a client side application, and it is using a concept of virtual DOM. And because of that virtual DOM concept only, it is not, the refresh rate is so high, and the community, so that is the purpose of using React, right? So now we'll switch to, like, so this is the, you can see the topics that we'll be covering, right? So these were the topics that we'll be covering. So you can see, so React works on, so React, when you have created your application, we are using React. So for running our React application, we need some runtime, right? We need some runtime. So that runtime to execute your React code is Node.js. So first of all, you have to install Node in your systems. So because this Node gives the runtime for your applications. So we'll first of all see that what is Node.js, right? What is npm? So npm is nothing but Node package manager, right? Node package manager. So as a runtime, Node gives that runtime for us to build our applications. So this is quite possible that we might need some packages to work with our code. So to install these packages on that Node framework, we need some interface. So that interface is nothing but your Node package manager, npm, correct? So that npm is an interface that helps you to download the required packages that are needed to build your applications. So that's the reason we'll start with Node. We'll see what is npm, how to use npm, how to work with npm, install these third-party packages which are required to build our applications. Then we'll come to the advantages of React. So we'll see what are advantages of React, why we should opt for React. We'll compare React with other libraries in the market, and we'll see what are the core advantages it gives over the other rivals in the market. Then we will move to environment setup, how to set up the environment for our applications. Then there is a package called create react app. So this app package creates a boilerplate for you. So this boilerplate, while using this boilerplate, we will be creating our application. So we'll see how it is done. Then we have something called props and states in React. So we'll give an introduction to props and states, and then we'll see what are the different type of components. So as I already have given an introduction to, like everything we'll create in React will be components. So it will be component based. So we'll see that what are the different type of components we can create in React, and then we'll see what is JSX. JSX is nothing but JavaScript combined with your HTML. So as I told you that in the application, we'll be using HTML to render the elements and JavaScript to bind certain values, right? The data that we have captured from the server, we need to bind the data inside using JavaScript variables inside the HTML. So for that, we use something called JSX. JSX stands for JavaScript XML. Then we'll come to prop types and HOCs. So we'll see higher order components. HOC stands for higher order components, and we'll see what are higher order components. So then we'll create a small application using the concepts that we have covered till now. So we have covered like props, states, how to work, what are different type of components, JSX, prop types, HOCs. So till now, what all we have covered, we'll create a small application using that. So against each item, you can see only first two, like just to give you an introduction to React and environment setup, that is a theoretical part. Apart from that, you can see every other session would be a practical stuff. Then we'll come to React lifecycle methods. So there are certain methods in React which has a proper sequence of execution, and these are termed as React lifecycle methods. So we'll see what are React lifecycle methods and how to work with them, what are the advantages, when to use which lifecycle method. So we'll come to that. Then again, we'll create one more application using the lifecycle method, see what are the advantages it gives us. Then we'll see how to create React forms and events, right? So at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is for our web application to interact with the end user. So we'll make our application interactive with the end user. So for that, we'll create a form, we'll ask the end user to fill that data, and then we'll save that data in our database, right? So we'll work with React forms. So again, we'll see that we'll work with the app. So we'll again create one more application using all the concepts that we have covered till now. Then we'll see component communication. So as we have already told you that everything in React will be components. So this is quite a necessity that all the components now should communicate between them. They should be able to pass the set of data, capture some set of data. So for that, we'll see how the components communicate between one another, right? Then as I also gave you an introduction to that, so we have something called APIs. So we'll call these REST APIs and we'll fetch the data from there. So we'll see how to work with API calls integration. So how to call the API from your UI, that is from your React code, and how to get the response from the server and bind that response in the user interface. So that we'll cover in the API call integrations. Then React routing. So as we have multiple screens, we also have to manage the routing once the user is navigating between to and fro between the screens. We also have to manage that routing. So for that, we have a special routing mechanism in React. Then we have React hooks. So React hooks is another a counterpart, you can say, for React lifecycle method. So then we'll cover that. So once we have covered all these points, then we'll again create one full-fledged React application using all these features, right? Then after that, we'll come to Redux. Redux is a state management. So as I told you, like it is the application using React that we'll be creating will be single page applications or will be client side applications, right? We have the code on client, but ultimately we have to call the REST API to fetch the data and store that data in our client side, right? To maintain the state of your application, to store that much data, we need some state management. So that is nothing but Redux. So we'll see how to integrate that Redux, which is nothing but a state management, which is used to manage your data of your application that you have captured from the API call, the response from the server. How to manage that much amount of data, we use a state management called Redux. So we'll see what is the architecture it follows. Then we have some core principles in Redux like actions, reducers, store. Then we will see what are all those core principles. Then we'll create a small application, right? With the application again, now that will be integrated with Redux. So now we'll create a full-fledged React application that will also use a state management called Redux. So this now will be a full-fledged application. Then on top of that, we'll be writing our unit test cases with Zest. So we'll also see what is Zest. A Zest is a framework to write unit test cases, right? So we'll study Zest and also see how to write unit test cases for it. And then finally we'll create one full final application that will be like using React plus Redux for our state management, and that also has the unit test cases written with Zest as a framework. So this will be the final application that we'll be creating. So as you can see, everything now we'll be going through will be practical. So only few sessions, like only two, you can say just 10% or 15% of the sessions would be theoretical, because that is ultimately needed before directly deep diving into the core concepts of practical. We cannot, without seeing the principles of without understanding those principles, you cannot directly deep dive into the coding. So for that, we have to see what is the core concepts it brings. Okay guys, that was an introduction, just a brief introduction that what is React, why should we opt for React, what is the percentage of market it has grabbed, and what are the topics that we'll be covering throughout of this course, right? So now back to you guys. So one by one, please just let me know what all questions you have. So I'm here to answer all your questions now. So guys, please one by one, whatever questions is coming up in your mind, you have any doubts,
Now the batch is starting.
so we can start the batch whenever we have the confirmation from most of you guys, we can start that batch. So what is the day you are expecting it to start?
Any day would work.
Okay. So Karthik, the answer to this question would be like, we'll see. We'll inform you based on the confirmation that we are getting. So like most probably it will start from Monday. So tomorrow is Sunday, right? So we'll start it from Monday.
Okay.
Is it going to be every day? Like day one, Monday, day two, Tuesday, and so on?
Yeah. So it will be day specific, and we'll be covering individual
Mhm.
topic day wise, and it will be practical. So as I told you, it will not be theoretical. Only few topics like React introduction and such topics like life cycle methods. So that's few topics will be theoretical, because I just told you that we cannot directly deep dive into the coding. We have to have a background. So to understand that background, we'll just see few topics as the theoretical. Apart from that, everything will be practical. So yeah, it will be practical based only. And we'll be using real world applications. We'll see how to integrate real world applications. So that will be the core concept.
So when you meant
Yeah.
practical,
So
would you be just writing the code to show us, or would you be giving us some tasks as well?
Yeah, we'll be giving you task as well. So say for example, if we have taken one topic like state and props, we are working with state and props, so we'll also showcase you that how to use that state and props by creating a small application showcasing that to you. And we'll also give you some certain task for that day to perform with that topic that we have covered, right? And when next day we'll be again meeting up, so whatever doubts you guys have regarding the topics, that small tasks that we have given to you, so you can come up with that doubts. We'll figure out all those doubts, and then we'll start the session for next day. So this is like a quite a, you'll get it a small task every day to perform for your practice.
question, how long how many hours it will going to render every day? Like how long would the session will be?
So the session per day, it would be like 1.5 hours.
Okay.
Somewhere
Okay
between
then.
1 to 1.5 hours.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So I have one more question from John. So he's saying like how we create React app in real world. I heard we don't use. So answer to this question is like John. We usually, so I've like in organizations we usually prefer creating applications using create React app, because this creates a boilerplate for us. We don't have to give so much time on creating that architecture for us, and it creates a default architecture for us, and we just have to concentrate on writing our business logic. So this is the core principle. Like we usually create applications using create React app only in most of the organizations nowadays.
At the end of the training, I would say we're going to have a like a real world product, right?
Yeah, we'll
Or
be having a real world. Yeah, correct, exactly. So
okay.
we'll be targeting, so the final product, the final thing that we'll be creating, so as I told you, that application, the final application that we'll be creating using React plus Redux, and then writing the unit test cases on top of that as well. So that final product will be a real world example, a real world product.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Will we be getting recordings?
Yeah. So you will be getting the day wise recording. So whatever we'll be covering on day, so you will be also getting those top recordings with you guys. So we have a platform, so there you will log in and you'll be able to download all these recordings from there.
I've seen your website. In the website, it also mentions that basics of HTML and CSS also will be covered before Ambient.
Yeah, as I started with that only. So we'll start with HTML CSS basics, HTML CSS and JavaScript, because we cannot directly dive into React. So for that we'll be seeing that the basics of HTML CSS and JavaScript, and then we'll move to React.
Okay. How long do you think and will this course take? And every day morning time, right? The same time, 8:30 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. How long will it take? Like the course?
The whole number of days you are asking, the total number of days?
Yeah, we including HTML, CSS basics. Yeah.
So it's like 20 to 20 days would be for React, and we can say 3 to 4 days for the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you can say, for example, like overall it will take
1 month.
24 to 25 days. Yeah.
So Akash, would you be like touching base with the form factory as well?
Form factory as in?
Like the Microsoft is releasing like some new versions like with where you can just in the JSON forms and everything, like you can do it with the form factory. That's a different library for the React.
So there are multiple libraries. So first of all, we'll try to give an intro to all the basics. And then if you'll ask, like at the end of the day, that you have certain libraries which you want me to touch up, we can take that at the end. So first of all, we'll try to cover the basics, the core that we have given. I just showed you. So after that, if you say that you have this library, you want to get an intro, you can let me know. So we'll plan accordingly.
So what
So
is the course fee?
so that maybe you can just get in touch with the coordinator you are in touch with. So he'll be the one who will give you all these details. So the one who have already shared this link with you to connect. So he is the person to connect with. So he is your POC, the contact point. So you can get in touch with him and can get all these details. Okay, guys. So one final round of questions, like if anyone has any doubts now. So John says, do we use React Bootstrap or any? Yeah, if we have to use it is a project requirement, we can use a library which is React Bootstrap to give CSS, to give stylings to the application that we are creating using React. We can also use normal Bootstrap. So I'll show you that how we do it once we'll start with the session, right? So we can also use normal Bootstrap. If not Bootstrap, we can just use normal CSS, our own CSS that we'll be writing. So we can use our CSS, we can use and we can use React Bootstrap, and we can also use normal Bootstrap as well. So all these are libraries. When we'll start with the session, we'll go through them one by one. So guys, any questions now? Yeah, Dexter.
Question. Regarding the end product that we're trying to build here,
Hmm?
I'm wondering if we could add it to our portfolio or something. So I'm wondering if it's going to be what it's going to be, like a social media app or a small, like Google Maps app.
Not a
What's it's
Google Map
going?
app, but it will be
What?
an application where you can use all the features. Like we cannot disclose it right away, but you will see like it will be a full-fledged application that we'll be creating as a final product, and you can still
Mm-hmm.
mention that in your portfolio.
Okay. So regarding about this API call integration part,
Hmm? Hmm?
are we going to write like some of the backend stuff, or we're going to focus on the front end?
Yeah, we'll focus on the front end. So we'll see that if we have some already created APIs, how to call those APIs, how to get the response from those APIs, and once you have that response, how to use and bind that response in the UI. So that is our focus will be on our user interface, our UI. So we'll not focus on the backend.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And regarding for the unit testing topic, are we going to create like some of the test scenarios, like how we going to um like figure out what are the possible bugs to our project? I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with this just thing, so I'm
Yeah,
asking you.
correct. Yeah, sure. So maybe as I told you that we'll be using Zest for writing test cases. So we'll be first of all to write a test case, you have to understand where your application get a bug, right? So for that you have to
Mhm.
first figure out like these are the scenarios where your application can crash. So first of all, our intention would be to figure out that where my application can crash, and then basis that what all pit holes we have found out, we'll try to write test cases for that. So that will be our objective.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Thank you. So guys, can you just share your details in the chat box with me?
Yeah, I
So
have sent
guys,
you
can you
my mail
just
ID.
share it? Okay. Can you just give your name, email addresses, and phone number? These three details in your chat box, please. One by one, can you just all ping me all your details? So any doubts, like any questions, guys, anything you have? Guys, I'm not getting your details. Can you just please ping me the details? Hello?
Yeah, we have sent already.
Sai, can you just please send it once more because I'm not getting those.
I sent
I
to visual part and yours as well. Like,
okay, but okay.
yeah, send it again. My mail ID.
So you have sent it to me or Visual Path?
Both Akash and visual part. I sent it to both.
Okay, but I haven't received. I'm not sure why.
I don't know. Visual part is also not responding.
Okay. So guys, everyone else, can you please just ping the details now in the chat box?
Um, for me, I already did. Can you confirm if you
Okay.
get it? Or
Yeah. Okay. So is it like to me or Visual Path? Just drop to both.
visual path? Okay.
Okay. Guys, please drop the details to both, like to me as well as to Visual Path. So guys, yeah, back to like, do you have any questions or is it fine that I tried today basically to give you an introduction that how we create, um, when we are working with web applications, then what is the architecture we follow? Then if we are opting for React, what are the advantages it gives us, right? So I just touched up based on all these topics. So can you just ping me the details to Visual Path and me, both of us? And if you have any questions, you can let me know. So guys, have you pinged me the details? Any questions now?
Okay, I just sent to both of you my information.
Okay, let me check. So you have sent it to both, right? Visual Path as well as me.
Yep.
Okay, I think there is some issue, but I am not getting your messages. So if that would be really helpful from you guys, if you can just share the messages to both of us, to Akash and Visual Path both. Okay, guys, if you have already messaged it in the to both of us, so we are good to bind up for a session today, right? Thank you so much, guys, for your time. It was nice talking to you. So let's catch up maybe on Monday to start this session, and have a nice day. Right? We are so any doubts, right? Any questions? Okay, guys, in that case, it was nice talking to you. Thank you so much for your time. Have a nice day. Bye.